sorry to say that inflation has hit the QB market. 50 is baseline now for a decent franchise quarterback. Even Geno will make 50 to 55. Agree, but to me, like the only reason, I mean, because that is the logic that the Miami Dolphins had with Tua, and now you regulated yourself to like they're gonna miss the playoffs, and they're never like that team is never gonna compete for a Super Bowl. I don't know. I agree that I think the way the quote unquote market that just whoever, if you're even decent and your quarterback contract is coming up, then you're automatically going to it just keeps increasing. You're going to ask for the highest value.
Yep.
I think that if you're the 49ers, you have to say what the quarterback market actually is what the NFL says your value is. And is there a team out there other than the 49ers that's going to pay you $60 million? Is there a team that's going to pay you $60 million and give us draft picks to trade for you? Because that is your actual market, quote unquote. And if you're really elite, if you're really a top quarterback, there'd be teams firing their, quarterbacks, bending over themselves, fighting other teams to trade multiple first round picks to go get Allen and give him a $65 million deal. Like if you're worth it, teams will do it. And I think if you gave Brock free range and you told this agent, okay, you think you're worth this is where we think you are, go ask around the league. I think Brock is very quickly going to find out his value is not in the $60 million range.
I think you're probably right. I think that, like a team like the Falcons, they might be more intrigued in him than they are Kirk, but they're now starting Penix, so maybe not at all. The Raiders, for example, they would probably be interested in Purdy. I think it's team by team. I think that like the Raiders, for example, they'd probably give him 60 because they're like, we need him. And I think that's the thing that's more important than anything else is when you're offering that guy that 60 million instead of that 55, that extra 5 really feels like, at least to me, it feels like this is like our sign that we want you. And that's us, like that's our fee of keeping you and not losing you. Like we're letting you know that we want you. And the Yorks, everyone's made it clear. They want Purdy so bad. And inflation is destroying this league. It's going to get Brock a probably $60 million deal, which looking at it now, it's like really crazy that he's going from Mr. Irrelevant to 60 million. Like that's really wild. And I'm curious to see when this changes. If it's a big salary cap boost, like would they make it bigger, or maybe it's lowering the value in draft picks. But with the way that stock is going in the NFL, I just don't really see that happening. I'm just curious to see how the league is going to deal with this, because if quarterbacks are going to constantly go up and up and up, they're going to eventually have to step in and do something.
Like they're going to self-correct eventually. Like obviously the cap is going up, but the percentage that the quarterback is taking up of the cap is getting
bigger
to a
and
percentage
bigger.
that it's never been at before.
Oh, yeah.
And I think teams, honestly, I think like now and even maybe last year and definitely this year, I think after that Deshaun Watson contract, you saw teams be like, no. Like everyone got together and was like, I don't care if the standard is we just go up and up. Like this will never happen again. No.
Which, by the way, how unlucky for the Browns. They give that guy that contract, and then all that other stuff comes out too, and it just
they deserve it.
My, that was the most Browns thing ever. Holy smokes, that was crazy.
What a horror! I feel bad for, I guess, Browns fans that like grew up Browns fans, but what a horrible franchise. Every team will pay Brock if they need a quarterback. I completely disagree. I will say it's not supposed to be like a huge quarterback market. They have Shedeur Sanders and like one other guy that are going to be highly drafted. But when I look around the league, I think, I don't know. I don't think Brock's market is huge. New Orleans, who's the backup behind Derek Carr right now?
Spencer Rattler, if I'm correct. He did not have a very good game the other day too.
Okay.
He did not.
Okay. And they play in a dome, right? Or am I wrong about that?
I'm not sure on that one, honestly.
Because I'm remembering that previous Jimmy Garoppolo game, and there was like all the very pretty lights inside.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Maybe that's what the 49ers do. They go say, Brock, go ask how much would the Saints be willing to give you. We'll either match that or we'll trade you if they're willing to pay you that and give you 2 firsts.
Oh God.
If you think Brock's value is that high, then that's what he should be given. And I'd trade Brock for 2 firsts, I think.
Really? 2 first? I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd give him for 2 first. That I think I would need a little bit of a steeper asking price, honestly, because
More?
I think every team in the
That's
league would
true. I
want
guess
Brock.
because and the 49ers are also just horrendous at choosing first round picks.
Yeah. Like I don't want them to have more first. Like give them a later round, like a 5th or something like that, where they can get a guy like Purdy again.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, what a win. But no,
Um,
I think every team wants Brock. Like if they could get Brock, they would be calling the Niners right now, being like, we want Brock. But it's not going to happen because the Niners are going to keep Brock. They're going to keep him.
See, and people are like, I don't think Brock would get 1 first. People are saying 2 seconds and a third. Like,
really?
Absolutely in a heartbeat for 2 first. That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's why I think Brock is not elite, because I'm looking at the recent quarterbacks that have been traded and they got traded. That's why I think Conor's like, you want way more than that, because the recent quarterbacks that have been traded have gotten way more than that. But that's why I don't think that Brock's value is actually that high. I think people look at him in the same way that the league isn't clamoring for Brock.
I don't think they're clamoring because he's not available. Like that's why. If he was available, everyone would be hitting their line, but everyone knows that they're going to pay him. So it's like, why would we try and call them to get him? Like it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. He's interchangeable with someone like Drew Lock, Justin Fields, or Zach Wilson. I heard that from Kumar right there. I appreciate that you said it's a hugely unpopular take, but I think it's going to get over well.
Okay. Let me see. Brock is literally interchangeable. Okay. No.
Yeah, I can't back that one as much. I love the take.
I've been like, people have been like, you're a hater. I think he's interchangeable with Baker Mayfield in this system. I saw Larry Krueger talking about Russell Wilson. I actually think Kyle wouldn't want to trade Brock for Russell Wilson. Although I think Russell Wilson is a much better player. He likes to scramble around and kind of off schedule throw the ball down the field beautifully. But I think that would drive Kyle Shanahan absolutely nuts to have someone who's, not able to execute their system in any sort of way. I think the Steelers are a really competent organization. I like what they've been doing with Fields, kind of working him in to get some rushing touchdowns. But he, in my opinion, does not look like a starter. Now, I didn't think that about Sam Darnold, so maybe he would go somewhere and do well. I don't want to completely write people off. Yeah. Now, Drew Lock has had multiple chances with multiple franchises. I think it's fair to say he's not a starter, and it's not even like he's not even.
Yeah, he's nowhere near. He looked bad on the Giants when I saw him recently. He did not look good.
They are not. I think saying he's more like Baker than he is Josh Allen, fair.
Yeah.
He's not even close to this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just love this from Kumar though. Of like we're picking out his open thoughts. It's just firing him off, and I totally shot that out. So thanks for giving me that though, Kumar. I appreciate that.
Now I do want to talk about Falcons. They just benched Kirk Cousins. I had it coming into this offseason that Kyle Shanahan and Kirk Cousins still talk on the phone every night, apparently. Apparently, they still talk. They still, talk football, talk family, whatever it is. Kyle Shanahan, he's always had an affinity for Kirk. Now, some people will try to downplay that and say that was years ago. I would say I think he still has a twinkle in his eye. Kirk Cousins, I think the 49ers, let me see if I have that. Cost for acquiring Kirk Cousins, he'd be $27 million. Because the Falcons would have to pay a certain percentage of his contract the way his cap hits. Now Kirk has 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. He's had a bad year. Still, by the way, has 3 more touchdowns than Brock Purdy does this year. So on his year that he got benched, he is scoring more touchdowns than Brock Purdy.
He is. Yeah. Well, okay. So I want to start with I need to stand up for this because I can't even if they trade for Kirk Cousins, I will lose my mind. I will lose it. So yes, he has more touchdowns. I'll give you that. I would love to talk about his interception rate over the past 5 or 6 games. Oh my God, it's worse than Sam Darnold. At his worst, it's worse than Drew Lock. It's worse than any name I could think of. He's
Jameis Winston status. 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions.
It's like right there, just minus some of the pick sixes that Jameis throws, because he for some reason is like so unlucky with the pick sixes. But if they go for that, I really think that they're cooked. I don't see Kirk being better than Brock, especially at the age he's at. And I don't think that it just doesn't work.
They gotta get
shout out Cutter,
whoever did you hear during the broadcast? I think it was Collinsworth, the announcer, totally took a shot at Cousins when Dre Greenlaw had his 8 tackles in the first half. It was like the halftime reporter, whatever, and he was like, "Well, you definitely know Cousins and Greenlaw had different doctors because that guy's moving and the other guy looks scared."
Yeah, Collinsworth, he's so funny with some of the things he says, like stuff like that, and his constant glazing of Mahomes. Like, he's a hilarious commentator.
To be fair, I thought for the majority of this year that Aaron Rodgers looked absolutely cooked. He was standing back there in the pocket. He was shaking. He was not moving. Recently, in the last couple games, he's actually been moving around a little bit. Maybe for these older guys, the Achilles, it takes a full year. It takes going into the second year off the Achilles. This Cutter guy.
Oh yeah, that's one of my buddies. I told all my friends I was doing this.
W Connor, what's up? But no. Do you think it's possible that he looks more fluid coming into next year? Then you give him a play caller who knows what he likes. You give him, we just talked about this team's going to get healthy, a healthy Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's no doubt he would look better than he did this year, but would he be prime Kirk Cousins? I don't know. And was prime Kirk Cousins even good enough to win a Super Bowl? I don't know.
I think prime Kirk is gone. And I mean, also the reality is, guess which team has better receivers and pass catchers? I think it's the Falcons right now. And maybe that's a crazy take, but I definitely think that he's got better pass catchers and he's performing worse. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a recipe for success for me. And it seems like if you do that, you're going to have to give up a good bit. Because I don't think they're going to just part ways with Kirk that easily, even though they just benched him.
Well, no, because they have Penix.
Yeah, even though they benched him, they just gave him so much money.
Why did they do that? I know even at the draft, everyone was like, that was insane. But even going forward, like I said, the acquiring team only has to pay 27. They're going to be paying Kirk for the next 3 years. I don't know why.
It's a replica of when the Packers, they drafted Jordan Love when they had Aaron Rodgers coming off an MVP year. And that destroyed their relationship. It completely destroyed them. It's not the same because Kirk didn't come off an MVP, and Kirk's obviously not the same quarterback that Aaron Rodgers was at the time, but it's similar vibe, and it's just it doesn't lead to success, I don't think. And I think it's just going to screw up that relationship. I don't know.
Do you think that maybe his mobility has been affected? How is the zip on his arm? Is it, I guess that's also been hindered, right? But maybe it's because he can't plant as much. He doesn't trust that Achilles as much.
Maybe it's that. It wouldn't shock me if it involved that, but I don't know. I think
my thing is, if you could sign Kirk for 1 year, 27 versus locking yourself up to a long-term deal with Purdy, I don't know. I'm not saying that they're going to do it. Matter of fact, maybe they shouldn't do it, but
I'm stepping in the conversation.
Kyle's looking at it.
Yeah.
He's at least checking it out.